you got a lot on the table, not a lot up here, okay? That's real important. And then that you're not like stretching it out, you're kind of pushing up against the lamppost, okay? What that does, give you more surface area here to pull this back and get the light out in front of it, okay? Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, that way you get the lighting situation correct, okay? Now, so we got a little of that cast shadow, right? Now look at the shadow under the bag. Look at your cast shadow you have in front of, you know, this shadow right here. Mm-hmm. How would you change yours to make it more consistent with what's really happening there? Look at yours, look at that, go up and down.
Needs to be thinner.
Huh? Thinner, yeah, just thinner. It needs to be thinner. What that's doing is making it look like the things, looks like it's doing this, watch. Right? Okay. Right. It's not. It's like on the paper. So that cast shadow is paper thin, no pun intended. Okay. So you take your ruler and go in, hide the cast shadow, right? Mm-hmm. You know, you got to guesstimate how wide you want. You might not get it right the first time.
Okay.
And you take your straight edge, or I'm sorry, your ruler. This is a eraser. I'm just going to do half of it here, just see what that looks like, okay? And that's the brightest, that's one of the brightest areas right there, so I got to really peel away a lot of stuff, okay? And there's just a little cast shadow there, right?
Okay.
All right? So, and it's a real nice edge, right? That creates a real nice edge. And then what I could do is I could clean up the paper bag side too. Watch. I'll just... So sometimes you got to go in and darken, but I'm going to kind of try to clean that edge up too on the paper bag side, because that's a pretty sharp edge. So that's better, right? Mm-hmm. See how I'm really creating a tension there? Okay. But this ruler is important for that.
Yeah.
And then what's happening here is a little cast shadow flaring off there, right? So you just take your ruler. It's not at that angle. It kind of goes at an angle a little bit. Again, angles are important. So this is all light below that.
Because I was trying to like compare what you were saying and like have a dark, medium, light.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And well, you want dark, medium, light, light. Okay. Just you know, you get in a bind. Just go look at mine, and see what's happening on mine. Okay. All right. But you want dark and light definitely, and then this area, yeah, is medium. So look how far down you have the dark there, right? Which is good. Then you subtract it, right?
Yeah.
You always have to. You get this background just like this goes for everybody. You get that background foreground paradigm just right. You got to add material, add and subtract 30, 40 times to get that to feel right. You can't do it one time. Okay, so if you got to erase too much, you got to add too much. You got to erase too much, you got to add too much. That's the only tools at your disposal is add and subtract here, right? Okay.
I just want to make sure that I was kind of on the right track.
Yeah. So next thing I would do is kind of pull this up a little bit.
Okay.
Look at the contrast here. So put this light forward. So just be sensitive to that. So up here, obviously, this is lighter than the background, right?
Yeah.
You get down here, all of a sudden, this little kind of fold in, which you could kind of go, you know, start to play with a little bit. It's a little lighter behind that interior part, right? Mm-hmm. But you get up around the corner here, all of a sudden, the total opposite's happening, right? So that's the sort of stuff I want you to kind of key into, okay? All right. Let me look at the bag here for a second. So this is okay. I think we could open this up. I'm going to make just a few adjustments here, if you don't mind.
No, okay, go ahead.
Okay. This could be a little flatter, okay? So this is going to be the back of your bag here, okay? And I think it could go up just a tad. It could be just a little taller, that back of the bag, okay? So that's your angle there, not that. So go back in and darken that in, okay?
Okay.
And then just a little higher, so we'll make it. I want a little more surface on the bag here, okay? You did a good job foreshortening because I think you kind of just went too much this time.
Okay.
Before it was too big, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a little wider, maybe even a little wider, yep. Here. And then let's move this edge down just a little bit, okay? So, and I want you to get rid of these lines. So what you're going to do is let's just erase it for now. And then I'll show you. You know that, look how dark this whole area is here, right? Okay? So I'm just erasing that a little bit. I'm going to reestablish it now. And there's a little wedge shape here, right? It wide here, and see how it kind of crunches down a little bit, right? So and you see less, you know that's in the middle, right? But what you're seeing is less here and more here, just because this side's coming at us, right? It's foreshortened, right? So that gives us latitude to kind of move that edge down a little bit and shrink this down and keep that the same. So what all I'm going to do is I'm going to lay some material down here. This whole side is going to be in shadow, okay, for now. So there's your new edge of the top of the paper bag. Now see, that shadow makes it feel like the lights, that shadow is so strong, right? That it feels like all of a sudden that lid starts to light up on top, right?
Yeah.
Start to glow, Now you're gonna have to work to kind of get that line out of there, but you can add and subtract, and over time, that'll start to disappear. Okay. All right, but you got to kind of add more material, subtract it, add more material, subtract it.
Okay.
So all of a sudden now, see how that feels like it's floating, right? We'll get rid of that. Hold it back for you. Once we get rid of that, all of a sudden it seems like an object on a plane now, Erase some of that stuff up. All right.
So for that part right there on the top, a little bit, like where you erased a little bit.
Where I
so
pulled it up.
Add more material to that and like.
Yeah, you could, a little bit, just to get rid of that line too as well. Yeah. Now eventually you'll want to go in, you could start to play around eventually. See all those little kind of various lights and darks in that,
Yeah.
right? The crinkles and wrinkles, right? Eventually, but that's down the road a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, and we'll use this eraser pencil for that smaller tool, not the bigger eraser, okay? And even a charcoal pencil too as well. Okay, all right. Okay. So this stuff will, eventually go away over time just by you playing around with the surface a little bit. So a lot better now, a little bigger here, smaller, shorter here. This is smaller than this because the plane's coming at us. That's flatter. You still had that going up too much of an angle, okay? And bring the, don't make it feel like this thing's floating. That feels like it's floating above the surface. That not so much, okay? All right.
So.
Okay. But all that stuff's available to you.
Okay.
If you look at it, okay? You got to kind of look at it and see what's happening.
Just to clarify, this part right here, should I add more material to it or?
It's okay for now. I
Okay.
wouldn't play around that too much. Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's okay now.
Okay.
It's okay for now. Yeah.
Okay.
You could eventually and then subtract, right? Because
Okay.
you want that to be bright. So that's one of those contrasty areas right here between this background and that right here.
Okay.
Okay? That edge and that edge.
Gotcha.
The most contrasty edges.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
All right.
Looks
Thank
good.
you.